more than 2,000 words to begin the big debate with the people. Words printed in French newspapers this Monday. Emmanuel Macron says that for him, no questions are off limits, although there are some limits to what he's willing to do. As an example, the first question is about taxation. The French president asks which taxes the people think should be lowered first, but he says he'll remain faithful to his campaign manifesto and ruled out rolling back his pro-business economic reforms, such as scrapping a wealth tax. He goes further in asking about institutional changes, asking if blank ballots should be recognised and if voting should be made compulsory, and how proportional should voting be. The president rules nothing out, knowing that some parties are calling for full proportional representation. He asks, should France use referendums more often, and who should be able to trigger them? In direct response to one of the demands of the Yellow Vest protesters. And he goes on to ask, in terms of immigration, do you want us to set annual targets? The president says he's happy to hear public opinion on this highly sensitive subject that adds a lot of wind to the sails of the far right. Macron said proposals made during the debate will help build a new contract for the nation and influence government policy making. And after weeks of Yellow Vest protests, he says he hopes to turn anger into solutions.
In this extensive 6-page-long document, Emmanuel Macron spoke about France being a country like no other, a place where the meaning of injustice is more vivid than elsewhere in the world, and where the need for mutual aid and solidarity is stronger than in other parts of the planet. And Emmanuel Macron says that this explains France's national sense of pride, but also explains the anger in the streets of the country. Emmanuel Macron invited the French to channel their anger and their energy into providing solutions to the complex problems that the country is currently facing. The French president invited the French to start by joining him in this grand national debate, by answering certain questions, by taking part in the next chapter of his mandate, and he will himself be inaugurating this debate on Tuesday in the northwest of France.
And at least the protests are still going on. We saw an estimated 90,000 people take to the streets across the country on Saturday. So it seems that there's still quite a lot of momentum to the Yellow Vest protests.
Indeed, there were hopes amid French government officials that the holidays would quell this revolt, that the movement would simply lose energy and eventually dissipate. But that doesn't seem to be the case. We saw once again numbers rising this Saturday. More than 80,000 people took to the streets across France to demonstrate against the government of Emmanuel Macron. And the initial reaction online to this letter was that of dismay. A lot of members of the so-called Yellow Vest movement saying that this is not enough. They will continue taking to the streets, demanding the French president's resignation.